So this is a reading of the Wreck of the Deutschland by Gerald Manley Hopkins, and it is in honor of my friend Mathias, who showed me this poem earlier, and he was telling me that he loves to read it aloud, and so I, in honor of that, also wanted to give a try, give a little hand at reading this poem aloud. So I'm going to do my best. Part 1. Thou mastering me, God, giver of breath and bread, world strand, sway of the sea, Lord of living and dead, thou hast bound bones and veins in me, fastened me in flesh, and after it almost unmade, what with dread thy doing, and dost thou touch me afresh. Over again I feel thy finger and find thee. I did say yes, oh, at lightning and lashed rod, thou hurt'st me truer than tongue confess thy terror, O Christ, O God. Thou knot'st the walls, altar, and hour and night, the swoon of the heart, that the sweep and hurl of thee trod down with horror of height, in the midriff a strain with leading of laced with fire of stress. The frown of his face before me, the hurdle of hell behind, where was a place. I whirled out wings that spell and fled with a fling of the heart to the heart of the host, my heart. But you were dove-winged, I can tell, carrier-witted. I am bold to boast, to flash from the flame to flame, then tower from the grace to the grace. I am soft silt in an hourglass at the wall, fast, but mind with emotion adrift, and it crowds and it combs to the fall. I steady as a water in a well, to oppose and to a plain, but roped with always, all the way down from the tall fells or flanks of the vole, a vein of the gospel proffer, a pressure, a principle, Christ's gift. To kiss my hand to the stars lovely asunder, starlight wafting him out of it, and glory in thunder, kiss my hand to the dappled with damsome west. Since though he is under the world's splendor and wonder, his mystery must be in stressed, for I greet him the days I meet him, and bless when I understand. Not out of his bliss springs the stress felt, nor first from heaven, and few know this, swings the stroke dealt, stroke and a stress that stars and storms deliver, that guilt is hushed by, hearts are flushed by and melt, but it rides time like riding a river, and here the faithful waver, the faithless fable and miss. It dates from day of his going in Galilee, warm laid grave of a womb life gray, manger, maiden's knee, the dense and the driven passion, the frightful sweat, hence the discharge of it, there its swelling to be, though felt before, though in high flood yet, what none would have known of it, only the heart, being hard to bay, is out with it. Oh, we lash with the best or worst words first, how a lush-kept, plush-capped, slow will mouth to flesh burst gush, flesh the man, and being with it, sour or sweet, brim in a flash and flood. Hither then, first or last, to the hero of Calvary, Christ's feet, never ask if meaning it, wanting it, warning of it. Men go. Be adored among men, God, three-numbered form, ring thy rebel-dogged in den, man's malice with wrecking and storm, beyond saying sweet past telling of tongue, thou art lightning and love. I found it a winter and warm, father and fondler of heart thou hast wrung. Hast thou, dark, descending, and most artful merciful then, and with fire in him, forge thy will, or rather, then, stealing a spring through him, melt him, but master him still, whether at once at a crash Paul, or as Austin, a lingering out sweet skill, make mercy in us all, out of us all mastery, but be adored, King. Part 2. Some find me a sword, some flange and rail, flame, fang, or flood. Does death on drum and storms bugle his fate? But we dream we are rooted in earth dust. Flesh falls within sight of us. We, though our flower the same, wave with a meadow, forget that there must the sour scythe cringe and the blear share come. On Saturday sailed from Bremen, American outward bound, take settlers and seamen, tell men with women, 200 souls in the round, O Father, not under thy feathers, nor ever as guest. The goal was the shoal of a fourth, the doom to be drowned, yet did the dark of the bay of thy blessing not vault them, the millions of rounds of thy mercy did not reeve even them in. Into the snow she swept, hurling the haven behind, the Deutschland on Sunday, and so the sky keeps, for the infinite air is unkind, and the sea flint flake, black-backed in the regular blow, sitting east-northeast, in curse quarter the wind, wiry and white fiery, and whirlwind swiveled snow, spins to the widow making unchilding unfathering deeps. She drove in the dark to leeward. She struck not a reef or a rock, but the combs of the smother of sand. Night drew her dead to the Kentish knock, and she beat the banks down with her bows, and the ride of her keel, and breakers rolled down her beam with ruinous shock. In canvas and compass, the whirl and the wheel, idle forever to waft her or wind her with, these she endured. Hope had grown gray hairs. Hope had mourning on, trenched with tears, carved with cares. Hope was 12 hours gone, and frightful a nightfall folded rueful a day, nor rescue only rocket and lightship shone. And lives at last were washing away to the shrouds they took, they shook in the hurling and horrible airs. One stirred from the rigging to save the wild womankind below, with a rope's end round the man, handy and brave, he was pitched to his death with a blow. For all his dead knot breast and braids of thew, they could tell him for hours, dandled the to and fro, though the cobbled foam fleece, what could he do with the blur of the mountain air, buck and the flood of the wave? They fought with God's cold. They could not, and fell to the deck, crush them, or water, and drown them, or rolled with the sea romp over the wreck. Night roared with the heartbreak, hearing a heart-broke rabble, the woman's wails, the crying of child without check, till a lioness arose, breasting the babel, a prophetess towered in the tumult, a virginal tongue told. Ah, touched in your bower of bone are you? Turned for an exquisite smark, have you? Make words break from me, here all done. Do you, mother of being in me, heart? O teachably after evil, but uttering truth, why tears? Is it tears such a melting, a magical start? Never eldering revel in river of youth? What can it be, this glee, the good you have done, there of your own? Sister, a sister calling, a master, her master and mine, and the inboard sea running swirling and hauling, the rash, smart, sloggering blind blinds her. But she that whether sees one thing, one, has one fetch in her ear, she rears herself to divine ears, and the call of the tall nun to the men's at the top, and the tackle rode over the storms brawling. She was first of a 5, and came of a coiffed sisterhood, O Deutschland, double a desperate name, O worldwide of its good. But Gertrude, Lily, and Luther are 2 of a town, Christ's lily and beast of the waste wood. From life's dawn it is drawn down. Abel is Cain's brother, and breasts they have sucked the same. Loath for a love men knew in them, banned from the land of their birth, Rhine refused them, Thames would ruin them, surf, snow, river, and earth gnashed. But thou art above, thou Orion of night. Thy unchancelled posing palms were weighing in worth. Thou martyred master in thy sight. Storm flakes were scrolled leaf flowers, lily showers, sweet heaven was astrewn in them. 5. The finding and stake and cipher of suffering Christ, mark the mark is of man's make, and the word of it sacrificed. He scores it in scarlet himself on his own bespoken, before time taken, dearest prized and priced, stigma, signal, cinquefold token for lettering of the lamb's fleece, reddering of the rose flake. Joyful to thee, Father Francis, drawn to the life that died with the gnarls of the nails in thee, niched of the lance, his love's gate crucified. In seal of his seraph arrival, in these thy daughters and 5 lived, and leaved favor in pride, are sisterly sealed in wild waters to bathe in his fall gold mercies, to breathe in his all-fire glances. Away in the lovable west, on a pastoral forehead of Wales, I was under a roof there, I was at rest, and they the prey of the gales, she to the blackout air, black about air to the breaker, the thickly falling flakes to the throng that catches and quails, was calling, O Christ, Christ, come quickly. The cross to her, she calls Christ to her, christened her worst, wild worst best. The majesty, what did she mean? Breathe, arc, an original breath. Is it love in her of the song as her lover had been? Breathe, body of lovely death. They were else-minded then. Together the men awoke thee with a we are perishing in the weather of Gennesareth? I don't know. Or is it that she cried for the crown then, the keener to come at the comfort for feeling the combating keen? For how to the heart's cheering the down-dugged, ground-hugged gray hovers off the jay blue heavens, appearing of pied and peeled May. Blue beating in a hoary glow height or night still higher, with belled fire in the moth-soft Milky Way, what by your measure is the heaven of desire. The treasure never eyesight got, nor was ever guessed what for the hearing. No, but not these, the jading and jar of the cart, time's asking, it is fathers that are asking for ease, of the sodden with its sorrowing heart, not danger, electrical horror. Then further it finds the appearing of the passion is tenderer in prayer apart. Other I gather in measure her mind's burden, in winds burly in beat in dragon seas. But how shall I make room there? Reach me a fancy come faster. Strike you the sight of it. Look at it loom there, thing that she there then, the master ips, the only one, Christ King had. He was to cure the extremity which he had cast her, do deal Lord with it living and dead, let him ride her pride in his triumph dispatch, and have done with all his doom there. There was a heart right there, was a single eye, read the unshapable shock night, and knew the who and the why, wording it how, but by him that present and past, heaven and earth, are worded by. The Simon Peter of the soul to the blast, Tarpian fast, but a blown beacon of light. Jesu, heart's light, Jesu, made sun. What was the feast followed the night, thou hadst glory of this nun, feast of the one woman without stain. For so conceived, so to conceive thee is done, but there was a heart throe, birth of a brain, word that heard and kept thee and uttered thee outright. While she has thee for the pain, for the patience, the pity of the rest of them, heart go and bleed at a bitterer vein for the comfort less unconfessed of them. No, not uncomforted, lovely fictitious providence, finger of a tender of, oh, of a feathery delicacy the breast of a maiden could obey so, be a bell to, ring of it, startled the poor sheep back, is a shipwreck than a harvest, does tempest carry the grain for thee. I admire thee, master of tides, of your flood, of years' fall, the recurb and the recovery of the gulf's sides, the girth of it, and the warmth of it, and the wall, staunching, quenching ocean of emotionable mind, ground of being, granite of past all grasp, throned behind, death with a sovereignty that heeds but hides, bodes but abides, with a mercy that outrides all of water and arc, for the listener, for the lingerer, with a love glides lower than death and the dark, a vein for the visiting of the past prayer, pent in prison, the last breath, pentient spirits, the utmost mark. Our passion plunged giant, risen, the Christ of the Father, compassionate, fetched in the storms of his strides, now burn, newborn to the world, double-natured name, the heaven-flung, heart-fleshed, maiden-furled, miracle in Mary of flame, mid-numbered, in three of the thundered throne, not a doomsday dazzle in his coming, nor dark as he came, kind, but royally reclaiming his own, a release shower let flash to a shire, not a lightning of fire hand hard hurled. Dame at our door, drowned, and among our shoals, remember us in the roads, the heaven haven of the reward, our king back, oh, upon English souls. Let him Easter in us be a day spring to the dimness of us, be a crimson-crested east, more brightening her, rare dear Britain, as his reign rolls, pride, rose, prince, hero of us, high priest, our heart's charities, hearth, fire, our thoughts, chivalry, throngs, Lord. Whew, that was a lot.